Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome again to another Mocha Money Monday. I'm Ashley Scott, one of your P3 Elite Coaches, and we are here with the Phenomenal Hughes community and another one of our phenomenal coaches, Ms. Laura Riley Cooper. Hey, Laura.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So today's topic that I'm excited to get into is actually all about the business plan. We're going to talk about the importance of a highly effective business plan today with Miss Laura. Laura not only is a P3 Elite Coach, she's a serial entrepreneur, someone who has been my friend, someone that I value immensely when it comes to her ability to strategize in business. This young woman is not just someone who is a serial entrepreneur, but she's been successful in multiple industries from film, music, as well as insurance, including real estate development. When I say someone is a not only a jack of all trades, she's not that. She's a master of many. So I'm excited to get started and just talk about this importance of a highly effective business plan, because when we talk about that money, one thing's for sure, if you want people to take you credibly, think that you're credible, to take you seriously, and you want to make sure that your money that you're trying to get from a financial institution, whether that be a credit card, whether it be private equity and investors or an angel investor, they want to see that business plan, right? And so we're going to go ahead and jump into this conversation. Laura, I'm going to throw it to you. For you, what is the importance of a highly effective business plan, number one? And then number two, what does a highly effective business plan look like?
Well, I believe that when you start off with such a great vision, most of the time we get these great aha moments, these different ideas, and, all of these things that come to us. But most of the time when they come to us, you don't necessarily know, how to execute whatever that vision may be. So I believe that deciding to create a business plan is one of the first and foremost important things, because it makes you do research. So you're going to do research and start actually understanding what it takes to have that particular business, what the demographic of that business is, who your customer is. It's going to make you consider a lot of things when you begin that research. So that's one of the key, most important ideas behind having a highly effective business plan.
Okay. So one of the things I did want to follow up with is just the idea of what goes into it. And then I also want you to elaborate on, because some of us, I know when it's time for me to get to writing, I sometimes get writer's block, right? So I'm sure there are some tools that you might use that other clients of ours might end up using when we go take them down the path and we're coaching them. What are some of the ways that people, one, can make sure that they have that highly effective business plan? What goes into it? And what are some of the tools that if you need some help with it that you can use?
Well, one of the greatest places I think that you begin your research is on internet. Social media has been a great tool, because typically you can find someone that's probably already in the industry that you're considering. And that gives you an opportunity to kind of look at how they go about presenting their business and presenting themselves, and the different tools or elements that they're using. So I think social media is one of the first places that you start, along with Google, because Google will give you a lot of information. But I also think one of the greatest tools that we've been handed that a lot of people are scared of now is AI. AI is wonderful when you are researching and looking for information. So you can put, as long as you start understanding how to ask it certain questions, you can get the answers that you're looking for.
Absolutely. So there's some tools that I know of, and I want to just kind of mention some of the things that go into the business plan. When you start thinking about what do you research, well, the first thing in the business plan is the executive summary, right? It's just kind of like the bullet points. Some people even write their executive summary last. That's one of the things that I know that I have done in the past, because it's a summarization of all the main points within your document. Another big part of the business plan is just your company description as far as your business model is concerned. What are you selling? What are people buying? How do you make money in that business, right? And then the market analysis. That market analysis is what Laura pointed to when it comes down to the research. You have to know how big is the market? How big is the industry? Who are your top competitors, right? And then how are you going to be managed and organized? Are you going to be a member managed organization, a member or a manager managed organization? Is there a board of advisors? Is there a board of directors? People want to know who's responsible. Is there a chief financial officer? Are you using a certified public accountant? Having those things layered into your business plan is what makes someone feel like you're credible and know what you're talking about when they decide whether or not they're going to give you money. The next thing, of course, is what are your products and services? That's a whole section in your business plan. What are the price points of those products and services so that you can forecast what the potential sales will be, right? And then marketing and sales. You can't have a business and you really don't have a business plan if you don't understand who are you marketing to, what's going to be the cost of your customer acquisition, how are you going to go about that, are you doing newspaper ads, are you doing Facebook ads? So these are the things that go into this business plan along with your financial plan, right? That those forecasts, those projections, what does your company going to look like 5 years from now? That should be all in that highly effective business plan. And then, of course, pictures, graphs, charts. You should have checked out the SBA. That's a great place and a resource that you can go to, because when you are looking for facts and numbers, the SBA is a great resource. You can even get score mentors. Like if you're not at the point and path where you're like, hey, I can invest in a P3 Elite Coach, you definitely need to go out there and get into those free resources that are available. I took a lot out of working with Score. They have an entire business plan tool that is available to you. So use your resources, Google, social media, all that's great, but it's super important to really go out there and use the SBA and all of the resources that they make available to us when you're in the process of growing your business. So, Laura, I'd love to talk a little bit more about one of your secrets. Like, I'm going to put you on blast a little bit about your business plan tool that you typically use, and how do you integrate that into your plan, your success strategies with your clients?
You're probably talking about Live Plan.
Yes, that's
okay. So Live Plan is a tool that I discovered probably about 5 years ago. I tend to, assist different new business owners, startups, or even people that have been in business for a while, because typically people do not start with a business plan. It is so crazy. You'll see so many people out here with businesses and they don't have a plan. So I've discovered Live Plan. Live Plan is great because all of that research that you do, you can plug it in. And then once you plug it in, it starts to help you to create those charts, come up with those numbers, help you with the forecasting that Ashley discussed, help you work through the scalability of your business. Just every dynamic of that, from the overview down to the executive summary to, implementing who your team is going to be. And all of that information goes into that Live Plan, and it cuts down your time a whole lot if you already have most of the research done. So it's a very, very good tool to have and to utilize as often as possible.
I couldn't agree more. Now, what are some of the types of businesses that you've worked with? You said that a lot of people don't have business plans. Is there any business that shouldn't have a business plan? That doesn't need one?
Every business should have a business plan. I don't care if it's a basic digital business, if it's like yesterday, I did a great course with some people which we do as coaches. We're always, getting more information and learning about new things. And so I'm interested in doing some Airbnbs. That's kind of been one of my things. And on the real estate side, I'm like, I really want to get an Airbnb. So I did a course yesterday with some people, 2 young people, about 21 years old. And one of the greatest things which made me say, oh, I'll give these young people my money to understand, because they've done so much of the research, they've provided all the tools that you need in order to be able to be a success and scalable within 30 to 45 days. And they did this by having a plan. They broke down where they started, where they are now, you know, all of the things that they looked at to get to where they are. The different things that they went through that may not have been so successful to get to the point that they are, where they had to make adjustments. And I mean, I was just really impressed with these young people yesterday. So it is so important. And that's what made me feel like they were valuable, because I knew they had a business plan and they had actually gone through all of these different elements of that business plan to get an understanding of where they were now, and to be able to have 2,000 people in their organization that were all, you know, working through the process. So I thought that was really great. And it really, that's what made me say today we needed to talk about the business plan, because that is so important.
So we've got some questions in the chat. One of our P3 coaches, Ms. Rhonda Novak, has just asked, how do you know if you don't have a good business plan?
I don't say that there is not a good business plan. Sometimes you just need to flesh it out a little more. Sometimes you need a little more information. Sometimes you may have started on your journey and then you have to make adjustments. So I don't think there's a bad business plan at all. I just always think there's room for growth, because if you're not seeing the profitability, the scalability, and where you're understanding your market and your demographic, then those are the key elements that need to be always, you know, those are the ones you need to pay attention to. And sometimes people don't understand marketing. So it's always good to get advice from a marketing professional that can help you to understand some of those additional layers, like when you get into SEO and, you know, all these different backlinks and all those things. I learned all those things from Ashley. Ashley is marketing. So being my business partner, best friend, when I don't understand something when it comes to those elements, that's who I go to. So I go to her as my professional to get that information. And that's what you have to do throughout that process.
The other question that Ms. Rhonda asked is, how long does it take to do a business plan? And the reality is, it's ongoing, right?
Yes.
You never actually finish your business plan. Yes,
Right.
you can have something that's completed, that's ready to go, that you can show to your investors and to the bank, but it comes with iterations, right? It's constantly growing and changing, because you're right. You learn new information about your business. Marketing and trends change regularly,
Yes,
right?
constantly.
The cost of business and doing business rises. So that can affect the projections that you've had. If you're in a business like real estate, there was a time when we couldn't even get materials if we wanted to. And so that had an entire impact on your holding cost, on something that you might have did a business plan on 2 years ago. That same business plan won't ride today. So you can't look at it like, oh, I've done my business plan, it's finished, I'm complete, it is over. You have to constantly keep reiterate it. And I think that it's not only important to know that you have to reiterate it. Some of the things that will make a business plan not a good business plan is if you didn't take the time to get those professionals like Laura talked about, right? If you're just making it up, pulling out your, you know what I mean? You have to take the time to understand what the true costs are of your business, from the rent to lease the space, to the Zoom accounts that you're going to have, to the marketing and the SEO that Laura talked about. You have to get that help, absolutely. And having that help in your business plan, having that CPA, those accounting people, knowing how much it's going to cost for you to do your taxes, that you can estimate, and you can go on Google and Google your life away, but nothing beats a professional giving you the estimates, giving you the quotes on what it's going to cost, you going out and finding out what the actual services that you plan on using, the software as a software as a service that you plan on implementing, whether it's MailChimp, whether it's ClickFunnels. Find out what those costs are and build and layer all of that in, so that when you do your business plan or submit your business plan to funders, They know that this is a well planned out, well thought out, realistic and practical business that will have a return on their investment. And if you're just making it up, you might not be able to get that return on investment back to those people who believed in you. And so, Laura, you wanted to say something?
Yes, and to answer the other part, well, so for that as well, you also, as you start to take meetings and have conversations with investors and funders and different things like that, you tend to get more information in those conversations that you were like, oh, okay, so I didn't consider that, or I need to flesh that idea out a little more to make it more explanatory to the person that is considering my business. Then also, Ms. Rhonda asked, how do you implement a business plan? Because most people don't understand implementation. Well, one of the things for me is always goal setting. I'm always setting my goals and setting my targets. I don't care if it's the smallest goal. Today, I want to have my domain. Next week, I want to make sure that I, have, set up the my EIN and, gotten the business register with the Secretary of State, and all those different things. So I always say, me and Ashley believe in chunking things. So you take and use small pieces of that goal and break it down from the smallest all the way to the largest, and just start, attacking those things one by one. And you'll find the more that you check those things off, the more you're excited about getting closer to your goal. So I think that's one of the best ways to implement.
I think that's such a good point, to have those SMART goals and then have that team also that's going to be on the same page as you, because you can't implement all of these things by yourself. And I think that's where a lot of us get caught up. I know it's hard to get into, paying other people when you first start out, but even if it's something as simple as Fiverr, if it's something as simple as hiring an overseas virtual assistant, having a team, some people who are going to help execute the things that you lay out on this SMART plan, you can get P3 help. That's what we're here for, right? Get a coach, get people who are going to assist you on your journey to make sure that you didn't just write this piece of paper out that sits on your desk and then doesn't have any action that goes with it. Mm-hmm. You have to not just have those SMART goals, written down on a piece of paper, transfer it to your calendar, right? Mm-hmm. Don't just have something that is a 50-page document, but it's not broken down into actionable items. And then those actionable items need to get onto your calendar so that you can do them according to what's most important. And I love that Miss Rhonda just said, get feedback on your ideas, right? Sometimes when you do something, you'll keep doing something without feedback, and without having that feedback to know, is this working? Is this falling on deaf ears? Maybe your marketing isn't converting. Why is that? If you're sending out emails and nobody's opening the emails, maybe your subject line is not good. It can be so many different things, but getting help is a true factor and key in being successful in any business. And that's the value of P3. When you have your P3 coaches, the platform, people who have background and information and insight that can make sure that your business plan has all of the right components, and that these action items that go into this business plan are going to move the needle for your business. Because we can be like hamsters on a wheel, running and doing things that don't always work. And right. You should get that feedback from P3 coaches so that you're able to get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, right? Don't keep doing the same things expecting different results. Mm-hmm. And so that is the value of a feedback loop.
And so what I like to call that is your accountability partner. Ashley has always been my accountability partner when I'm, thinking of a new idea, when I'm going back to old ideas, when I'm moving through that idea and making adjustments. I have a few people like her that I go to and talk to and say, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I've been doing. This is what I think is working, because a lot of times, like she said, you can get stuck in that wheel if you aren't willing to make adjustments. And the only way you're going to know if you need to make adjustments is by like bouncing your ideas off of people, as Ms. Rhonda said. And that's why we're here as your P3 Elite coaches, because we can be your accountability partners.
Yes, indeed. So at this point, I want to open the floor in case there's any other questions or any other insights that some of our fellow P3 coaches might want to provide. And then again, I want to always give people resources, because it's not just about, selling our P3 coaching services, because yes, we are here. We have a phenomenal community of coaches and other accountability partners that can serve you on your journey. But if you're not there yet, and a lot of us, entrepreneurship is hard, you're not there yet, I cannot encourage you more to visit SCORE.org. SCORE is an exceptional platform. I used it for many years to be able to get my business plan done, to do research and market analysis, to even understand the trends as to whether or not the businesses I was interested in starting would be successful. And I heard Miss Rhonda coming on the line. Miss Rhonda, did you want to connect?
Good morning. Yes, I wanted to reiterate what you were saying, is that business plans are difficult. And they're difficult because if you've been a corporate employee for a long time, you haven't learned how to think outside of the box, outside of the lines. And so entrepreneurship is very difficult because we're not conditioned to do that unless you came up in a family that was entrepreneurial. So just the encouragement to say to stay in the game with the plan, because it does take a while. It takes you a minute to figure out, what are you looking for? Why are you looking for? Why do you need to know market? But as you get down the journey, you will see how important it is to understand you can't sell to everybody. So who is that body you're going to sell to, and why is that important to you, and what your values are, and who you're connecting with? So thinking through all that just gets you the first, just like your undergarment for, your suit, your clothes, like get that first grounding. So you have some communication with other entrepreneurs. You have to start speaking the language. So that space of getting that business plan is critically important, just because it gives you information so you can communicate with your audience and you know what you're saying and how you're saying it. So forgive me for going on a rant, but I just think it's very important. The topic is very important. As much as it made an impression on Laura yesterday, it would make the same impression on other people if you have your crap together. You know what you're talking about, and you know why you're making certain decisions. A business plan will help get you there.
So what's the best time to write a business plan, Laura?
I believe at the beginning of developing that idea, even if it's not the formalized plan, getting a notebook and starting to jot down those ideas are the start of the process of building your plan. Because like she said, you'll come up with the ideas about the executive summary. You come up with the ideas of what the team would look like and all of those things. And so typically it's not in the form of a actual business plan when you start. It's usually some notes that you jotted down. And I think at the moment you have the idea, that's when the business plan starts.
Well, thank you for that. Yanni, I see your hand raised. You want to come on the line?
Great morning. How are y'all?
Good morning.
I just wanted to share how dope it was that Miss Donetta told me to get on a call this morning. Well, I was already intended to get on a call, but I created my business plan last week. I am in the phase of the description of business, and it is very tedious. Oh my God. I've been doing so much research, but the business plan is for me to open up an event-based business. So having to do research on that, going on social media, it's like I'm learning so much more. But thank you so much for the scores.org. And I forgot about Live Plan too. But I'm definitely going to utilize those two. And then by next Monday, I should definitely be completed. And I would love your feedback on my business plan.
Absolutely. Bring it to the next meeting. Bring your description so we can talk about it.
Yes. So thank you all for listening today. So before we get out of here, I want you to take, again, just some time to really think over why you should have a business plan, whether you're just getting started, whether you're in the growth stage, go back and look and put your hands on your business plan. If you've been in business for some time now, sometimes you get so busy being busy that you forget the fundamentals of your business. So it's a great way to stay focused and on point. Of know what you know when they say when all else fails, go back to basics, and that business plan should be your basic structure for how to be successful in your line, in your industry. When you look at those competitors, it'll give you the spark to maybe go check out and see what your competitors are doing new. Maybe it's been a while, you haven't looked at your business plans for 5-10 years from now. Are those competitors still in business?
Right.
Are you seeing different trends in the industry? So whether you're just getting started or whether you've been a seasoned professional in your industry for years, it benefits you to go back, look at your business plan, do that SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are the threats that are in the market right now? Your business plan, if it doesn't identify those, it will help you to spark that conversation within yourself and have that conversation with your P3 Elite coaches, okay? So again, thank you so much for tuning in to Mocha Money Mondays. This was brought to you, as usual, by your P3 Elite coaches. And I have to shout out our founding sponsor, Wilson's Financial Group. We cannot do this without our partners, and we can't do this without you, our audience. So please tune in again for the next Mocha Money Monday, where we're going to get your money right, okay? Talk to you guys soon. Thank you, Miss Laura, for being with us today. And thank you to the other P3 Elite coaches that are on the line. Until next time, peace, guys.
Have a great week.